everyone. I'm Harkamna Malhotra from Savills India, and I would like to welcome all of you to the next episode of Amoha Beyond Square Feet, the Buyer's Mindset. In the last conversation, we understood the ethos and vision for Amoha. But today, I want to shift the lens a little bit and dig a little deeper into the perspective of our buyers. What is it that the consumer is really looking at when it comes to a project like Amoha? Which is why I have a very special guest with me today, Mr. Arman Say. Hi, Arman.
Hi, Harkamna.
Who heads the sales for Amoha at Savills India with us. I'm very glad that you could join us today, Arman.
Pleasure is all mine.
And I look forward to a very interesting conversation with you.
Absolutely, looking forward.
So let me start very simply, Arman. My first question to you would be, when you look at a project like Amoha, what is the kind of buyer that immediately gets it, who understands the ethos and the value that a project like Amoha brings in?
So, good question, Harkamna. So, Harkamna, typically when people, buy second home overall, there are people they feel trapped in their daily lives, in the daily atmosphere that that you have a 9 to 5, a weekly jobs that people do.
Right.
So they want to escape that. And I think where Amoha does a very good job, especially Amoha, is that while it gives you the benefits of being away from home, it doesn't take away most of the amenities that you can enjoy in your primary residence.
Right.
Now, whether it's the hotel that we have, the facilities that we've maintained, the services that are built in with each home, it's very rare to get that in a second home, which is where I think Amoha does a brilliant job.
And the buyers understand that.
Yes, buyers definitely understand that. In fact, over the last 10 years alone, there's been a great shift in mindset, of consumers, wherein it's not just brick and mortar anymore,
Right.
It is what the experience actually feels to them. It's the
Definitely.
lifestyle they enjoy. And at the end of the day, when you coming to a home away from your primary residence, it shouldn't feel, necessarily like a vacation every time. You can actually learn to live here full time and really enjoy it.
Right. No, I totally second that. I think a product like Amoha really envisions the entire living experience that way.
So, yeah.
Arman, we work with a lot of HNIs and investors, and considering that this is your line of work, you do have to deal with a lot of such profiles. So, my question to you is that is the decision to buy a second home is purely transactional, or does it have a more sort of say an emotional ethos or emotional lens to it?
Right. So, Harkamna, I'll come to the second home part. Any home that a person buys anywhere, whether it is a first home or a second home, there's always an emotional attachment to that purchase. Because unlike, buying a shop or, making an investment purely, where you're just looking at numbers. Here, you're going to be living in this space. And everyone wants that their home kind of speaks their language, it envisions their personality, right? Because it's, you want your home to kind of show your personality. It brings out they say if you really want to get to know about a person, you should see the way they've done up their home. It speaks
Right.
volumes about them. This is more so valid in the case of second homes because, these purchases are extremely from the heart. This is not, by no means is it a mandate or a requirement today that you have to own a second home. It's an indulgence.
Right.
Frankly, given today's city landscapes with people being compelled to live in metropolitan cities, I study in Bombay for work, they can't leave them full time, they need to maintain an address there. But it mandates them to have a life outside of those cities.
Right.
So definitely, I mean, there is an emotional lens that is involved here. At the same time, today's market is so vast. You can have a second home, starting at 1 crore, going up to, many crore.
Right.
So there is, depending on what is one's appetite, there is always, one needs to look at how much they're happy to spend on this kind of an acquisition. That is important. But I think the ethos of a second home is largely a very emotional, lifestyle-driven purchase.
Okay. Right. That's what I hope for actually. I think for a second home, there has to be a sense of belongingness that you're gone to.
Right.
More so than your primary home, perhaps.
Yes, definitely. Because the primary home, when you buy it, it's, fueling a necessity,
Right.
But your second home is more often than not fueling a
Aspiration.
desire,
Right.
an aspiration, like
Right.
you rightly said. So that's definitely, there's emotions, there's enthusiasm, there's excitement. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful
That's
space
what
to be.
makes it
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful space to be.
We are sitting in a Moha Arman
Yep.
in Dharamshala.
Mhm.
See, for a place as beautiful, as serene as Dharamshala, what is the kind of buyer that is truly drawn to such kind of a locations? Is there a particular TG that really gets this?
Harkamna, Dharamshala, for all its glory, it's a very, very inclusive place. If you're a nature seeker, we have some of the best practicing trails here.
Right.
If you're a spiritual seeker, there a lot of shrines, a lot of temples. The Dalai Lama has his sitting space as well over here. And then again, if you're just someone who just wants to be engulfed in the open air, the Baladhars,
Right.
you want to have a good time with your friends, you want to party, any and every kind of person, Dharamsala has place for everyone. And I think what makes Dharamsala as a city all the more important, and in fact, in many ways, a lot better than a lot of other hill stations, is connectivity. I mean, that in my mind, the fact that we at a Moha, we sit here, in 20 minutes, we're at the airport.
Right.
Another hour after that, we're in Delhi. Another half an hour after that, I'm home. So, all in about 2 hours from door to door, you can do that. I mean, it's
Right.
hard to imagine even getting from Gurgaon to Noida in
Right.
2 hours.
In that
2
much
days.
time.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So Dharamsala, I feel, is amazing that way. But also, I mean, if you look at it from another perspective, there are a lot of expats here. McLeodganj has a thriving population of expats
And tourism.
and tourism, of course, that's there. At Amoha, we are more specifically about 15 minutes away from all the hustle bustle of Dharamsala, and that was a very deliberate decision.
Choice.
Yes, a very
Right.
deliberate choice. We wanted to have the ethos of Dharamsala, but we wanted to be away from the chaos. We wanted
Right.
people to enjoy nature without, honking and other things that, well, in any city, enough tourists come in it's going to happen, it's bound to happen. But at Amoha, we wanted people to get that ethos of the Dhauladars without the actual pains that come associated with it.
No, I agree. I think it's at a beautiful intersection where you
Fantastic.
get to enjoy the nature.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a place, as a location, it's extremely accessible.
Very accessible.
I mean, we are 15 minutes away from the airport.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a great selling point.
Accessibility is one thing that will never go out of fashion. It's always going to be a very important factor.
It's a necessity.
It's very important for me that in 15 minutes I could be at the airport.
Right.
I don't want to be in a situation that I need to head home and now I need to find transport and now I'm, 6 hours away from the nearest airport. I don't want to be in that situation. While I may enjoy it short term, but in a long term scenario, I wouldn't want to be locked away that
And I think when we were talking a few minutes back, you mentioned about having accessibility to world-class healthcare.
Yeah.
He told me that there are hospitals that one can access nearby.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So we have Harkamna here. The beauty of a Moha also, like I said earlier, it lies not only in the location, but what you're actually getting when you live here. So it's one thing is that we have a fully functional 5-star hotel on campus, but what does that really mean for you as if you're going to be living here? At
Right.
the end of the
For a
day,
buyer.
For a buyer, I mean everything looks great on theory, but what is it in real life? So what it really is that because you have this hustling, bustling hotel with 40 keys present, you always have staff here. You always see people here.
Yeah.
You're secluded if you want to be, but not if you don't.
But it's also a community.
It's a community. It's community living, and just as a reference point, as we discussed, medical care. We have obviously on campus. We have an ambulance on call.
Right, you mentioned.
But not just that. We're practically just 15 minutes away from the Portis
Right.
hospital.
And I think that that's the biggest, that's something that a homeowner would look at the first day.
Definitely. Medical care, accessibility, these things are very important.
Definitive choices when you purchase a
Absolutely.
second home. In fact, the first thing.
Cricket stadium is one of the highest cricket stadiums
Right.
in the country. We have it. A lot of gaming happen there.
So-
It's fantastic.
Does that really interest the buyers that you've interacted with, having the stadium or say the army golf course, if I'm not wrong?
Yes, there is a golf course which is less than a 3 or 4 minute drive away from us. That
Oh,
is
wow.
that's amazing. It's people love it.
Really?
It is. While these golf courses, they're not the fanciest that you may find in tier 1 cities, but the terrain, the views, everything. It's just a very enchanting experience. Same goes for cricket. The cricket stadium, while it may not be a deal maker for a lot of people, the fact that you have the stadium here, the fact that it attracts the kind of gentry that come and watch games here, and the fact that you can also reach in 20 minutes and watch a game, better than that.
Definitely a USP in my lens.
USP for sure, experiential living. That's what we're all about. The golf course is there. It's a stone's throw. It's a walking distance for all intents and purposes. If you have that, why don't you pay?
So something else that stands out here is, Arman, the idea of managed living. Everything is effortlessly managed, fully serviced. Since you've interacted with a lot of buyers for a Moha, potential homeowners, do you think the idea, the experience of managed living is going to become the preferred model for homeowners going forward?
Agamna, today, when we talk about a second home, the irony of life is that in a second home, people don't spend all the time there, right?
Correct.
They come for short bursts,
Yeah.
sometimes longer bursts, but then they're not there. And more often than not, people, when they come here, they don't necessarily bring everything along.
Correct.
They need certain amenities over here. They need these homes to be taken care of while they are there and while they are not there. And this is really important. I mean, today, if you're sitting in your home, you want to call the concierge for something. You want room service. You want housekeeping. You want your home taken care of when you're not there. It's very important. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's not just for second homes. Even for first homes today, there is increasing population of owners to say they want their primary home also managed.
Taken care.
Yeah, taken care of.
I think, the friction of owning a home definitely eases it out if we remove that friction.
Greatly reduced, because you see, there, as much as we deny it, any home, like a home like any other asset that you own, it requires maintenance, it requires
Correct.
upkeep, right? It's not about the cost, it's about who actually does it, and that's the fact, right?
So eventually it boils down to that everything is taken care of you.
Yes, it's taken
And-
care of for you.
And that definitely would have an impact on a potential home.
100%. I mean, today, if I was to go and buy a home anywhere, while I'm going to look at, the square foot, and I'm going to look at other things, but for me, the number one thing in my mind would be, who's going to actually take care of this home. And it's very important. More so in second homes, but I think today increasingly in first homes.
So in that lens, a Moha really checks the list.
But the fact that you too can access the hotel, you too can enjoy the services of the hotel, that's, I think,
Enhances the experience.
it's enhanced. It's greatly enhanced. It's like a managed Pro Max, if I can use that nomenclature.
Right. When a potential buyer first interacts with a Moha, what is it that gauges their interest in the first encounter? And simultaneously, what are some of the hesitations that they come into it?
Right. I think, Harkamna, on first glance, what really catches the eye of a Moha for buyers for a Moha is, I would say, one is the accessibility, if I mentioned earlier.
Right.
This second being that all these homes that we're making, it's a very low density
Correct.
development. So over here, if you see in 9 acres, almost 9.5 acres actually, we have just 33 homes. That is it. That kind of density is unheard of. Even, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about Delhi or Bombay. I'm talking about proper holiday home destinations, be it Goa or any other place. Those kind of densities are absolutely unheard of. 33 homes in 9 acres, including a 2-acre hotel
Right.
with just about 40 keys. I
It's
mean,
like a bespoke exclusive community.
we wanted to keep it like that. At the end of the day, if you come to a place like Dharamsala, there's no point if I make a concrete jungle here, right? If I created another Delhi or Bombay in Dharamsala, it might commercially it might work better, but it takes away from the ethos of the place. We wanted
Correct.
to let Dharamsala be Dharamsala.
And stand out as its
Yes.
own.
So when people come here, they just marvel at, the greenery. They marvel at the homes that we're making in terms of even the interiors, the way we've kind of designed it.
Right.
It's very reminiscent of what any 5-star hotel in the world offers. We've been very generous with room sizes,
Right.
the choice of materials, the use of wood all throughout the place, and of course the very generous decks, which is actually where you'll experience the home in the best possible way. The views you get the Dhauladhars, you get the valleys. It's just a very different kind of living.
So those are the things that a buyer quickly gets its interest on.
I think it stems also from what we discussed previously about managed homes. The fact that Amoha takes care of everything for you end to end, from A to
Right.
Z. It just removes any apprehensions that prospective buyers have. And with that, I'll come take your second question as well about apprehensions. I think when anyone comes to acquire a second home, one of their biggest apprehensions, there are two, if I may say so. One is the management part, which I've covered for you. And the second, which I think is also today smarter investors are coming into play, and they're thinking, when I'm not occupying my home, it's just lying there. Why can't my home earn a passive income for me?
Okay. That's a very interesting lens that you shared. So, Arman, you've shared some really interesting insights with me. Just to close, my last question to you would be, how has this journey of bringing something as weird, as nuanced like a moha to the market been? Because you've been at the forefront, you've driven the sales. So, how has that journey been? How has it shaped your lens towards your sales journey?
No, Harkamna, when we started selling it, we've asked ourselves a lot of questions. And I think that's when you bring this kind of a product to market, there's always going to be that slight doubt in your mind that, am I creating a product that's a product market fit or not? At the end of the day, I mean, you can make the best development of the world, but if people are not accepting of it,
Correct.
then it doesn't matter.
Right.
So we asked ourselves that question a few times through the journey, and then we finally found the right fit in terms of the kind of development we want to create. I think for me personally speaking, the fact that a Moha, the homes, the residences, are not different at all from Amoha the retreat. The fact that we are creating this integrated ecosystem, that has personally kept me very excited about what we are doing. And in terms of a sales journey, I'm very grateful at that level that the founders have been very, very supportive of us.
Right.
We've never really felt like we're trying to just push a target. We're just trying to
Correct.
offload this. We've been very, very specific in terms of filtering our buyers as well.
Correct.
We want to create the right community. We're not just selling a home, we're building a community. And more importantly, we're building a generational asset. This is something that is, going to be passed on from generation to generation. So we need the right mindsets, the right people.
Correct.
And I think I've been very fortunate in that. And without boasting, I just feel I've been very, very fortunate to have interacted with some of the best people
Right.
over the last, years and a half that we've been with Amoha. And it's been a very gratifying experience.
No, and I think it's a beautiful feeling when you can just entwine your passion and your work together.
Yes.
And I think that's what a moha is for you. And I've seen you
Yes.
working for it
Yeah,
like that.
Absolutely. And I'm very passionate about this as a development, what it becomes, what it shapes into over the next 3 or 4 years. In the next 6 months, we'll have people moving. We'll have.
Yeah, and I think contrary to what might be the general sweeping generalization for a sales journey, I think after seeing you with the moha, I've understood that it's just purely more than transaction. It has to be more. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you can't invest that.
You don't believe strongly in what you're selling, you can't sell it. If you
Correct.
won't yourself buy what you're selling, you can't sell it, right? I would personally, and I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is, I would personally go ahead and, buy Amoha if I could. So
You could, you can.
you never know. I say never say never. And I'd also take this platform to also thank Savills, because they, at the end of the day, it's their expertise that's given me the opportunity to work on something so magical.
Definitely.
And I think they're doing wonderful work. I couldn't be happier to be than just to be associated with a brand
That's
like that.
wonderful to hear, Arman. Right. With that, I am going to conclude this episode, Arman. I think you've shared some really intriguing insight with the viewers. And I think my takeaway from this episode would be that today the language of luxury, the meaning of luxury is changing. I think what buyers are today looking at is more intentional. But they're making a conscious choice to make a more meaningful life for them. And that's what he highlighted in more answers to my questions.
Appreciate that.
And that's a wrap for us for the episode 2, Amoha Beyond the Square Feet, the Buyer's Mindset. Thank you everyone for listening this through with us, and I'll come back to you with the next episode very shortly. Till then, take care and bye-bye.